how's it going? Give me a second here. I quite literally just got it.
You can cut through anything with this flash.
Okay. If that flashlight is what it is. Here we go. That's a little better. Sorry, folks. I just quite literally got out of the shower in the last 10 minutes. The bread you saw, the pure white bread. There's no multigrain in it, and I spoiled the bread I made today. I didn't spoil it. I put in eggs and milk and butter, and so we had supper, and I go, the timer goes off, and I go, oh, gotta go take the bread out of the oven. Now he goes, bread, fresh bread, ooh, bread and jam for dessert. I said, it's not even out of the oven yet, man. Hey, hey, Angela, let me say hi to a few folks that are saying hello right now while we wait for everyone else to come in. Angela Passmore, hello, darling. Garnett Morgan, Jim Ward. Why does that name sound familiar? Linda Bopp, Linda Chandler, Lynn Smith. Are you anywhere near Salmon Arm, BC, Lynn Smith? Melody Ray, Odette Bourguignon. Black Sheep, Ninja, Natalie. How's everybody doing tonight? You can dehydrate ketchup. Really? Oh, well, there's no fat in it, right? Martin, darling, how are you? Are you home yet from the hospital? Hey, Monique. Muridanes. Did I say it right? We're about 6-7 hours north of Salmon Arm. Really? My hands are real. I'm in a lot. Actually, everything hurts. My knees always hurt. But right now, it's my shoulders and my wrists and my hands from carrots and now celery. The celery's all ready for canning tomorrow. I'm the other Lynn Smith, upstate New York, near Cooperstown. Hey, how's it going, Kathy Pinkstaff? My hands are sore. Give me a second. You notice I'm not flicking the fan as fast as I normally do. Oh yeah, well, you see, I hear you. Hi, Freedom Sassy. I hear you, Joe. I hear you, Joe. Everything is hurting because cooler weather. Absolutely. Hi from Tyler, Texas. Praying you get feeling better. Well, honey, you can pray. But the truth is, I'm 58 years old with 2 kinds of arthritis and fibromyalgia. It really doesn't get much better than this. And I honestly think as much pain as I'm in, there goes my hip. My hip's starting to go. As much pain as I'm in, it could be a lot worse. It could be a fibro flare. You think about this. My arthritis in my hands and my shoulders and now my hips and my knees are all kind of going off, right? But it's still not as bad as a fibro flare. A fibro flare is like your body wants to shrink in on itself. It's like it's been wrapped in, all your muscles are shrink wrapped and they're contracting. It's really something else. Jane, hi, sweetheart. If I woke up and nothing hurt, I'd think I was dead. Exactly. Exactly. Right? Hey, Sherry Leach. So I woke up this morning. Hey, Terry Boivin, how's it going? I woke up this morning. And now, listen, guys. I get up at 5:30. I make Howie's breakfast, even if it's a bowl of cereal. I usually alternate cereal with French toast or cereal with poached eggs or something, but today it was cereal. I got up and I poured his cereal and his milk, and I made him his lunch, and I went back to bed as I do every morning. And when I woke up, Gracie and I went back to bed, and I woke up at like 10, right? Because by the time I get back to bed, it's 6:30, and then I have to check my email on my phone and all those things before I can like relax back into sleep. So it's like 7 before I get back to sleep. Hey, Ann Sylvester, I was gifted carrots, yellow squash, and zucchini, small. Got the carrots canned today and 10 pints tomorrow, the squash and zucchini. Yippee! Good. Oh, yeah, free is always good, and gifts are always good, right? So, Howie, That box, was that the only mail? Could you bring it? Could you get it for me when you get up? Or are you in your knickers? I'll be right back. Oh, hey, prepper. Prepping. Oh, yes, folks, I'm in my pajamas. Oh, there went my left knee. Oh. Oh, God, I think he sent me more than two. Oh, ow. I got a parcel today. I'm in a lot of pain. Howie's going to the races this weekend, which means, I get to do whatever I want, which is usually canning and stuff. Crap, I didn't bring any scissors or anything. Oh, just a second. So I woke up and I looked outside. First thing I do when I wake up and get ready for my day is I look above my head and I crack the curtain and I get a peek at the sky. Well, what do you think this is? Hang on. And it's heavy because I'm down to my last sleeve of canning lids. Like, you guys see what I can, but you don't see everything I can until the pantry update. Oh, Lord, love a duck. Give me a minute here. I'm really just a little discombobulated, folks, because I have been just going constantly. Oh, there's my fly swatter. A little late. I've been going constantly. Oh my gosh. Ow, ow, ow. Oh, craft scissors. So I did the last of the carrots, took them off the dehydrator today. And then when I woke up and I looked outside and I saw the sun shining, Lord love a duck. Oh, I don't even know where I picked that up. Hey, critter lover, Simply Jessica, Freaky Geek, Mary Fair, JB, Leanne Bishop. And I saw a patch of blue sky and the sun shining on some leaves. And I thought, oh, what a beautiful day. And I went to roll back over, and as loud as the trumpets of Gabriel, God said, Bev, get the celery in. Frost is coming. This is your day. And I went, okay. Hi, Cooking Mom. To see how much I missed. Oh, we just got here, sweetheart. We just got here. Really? Is it that old, Jane? Well, I'm an antique myself. So I got out of bed. I got dressed. I put the kettle on, and I went out and I took a great big, the great big Costco bags, and I hooked a handle in each one of my walker, and I set the bag on the seat because the bag's much bigger than the seat. If you just try and put it on the walker, it'll fall off, right? I love you too, Mary. Hey, Glenn, how are you? And well, I'm from Toronto originally, Freaky Geek. The slugs ate up my celery this year. I think that's what ate it. You really should do raised beds. I got a few slugs, but nothing like on the ground. So I got out there and I took a blunt-ended sharp knife, right? Because I always worry I'm going to fall on it. And I thought, okay, well, I'll go pick the best of the celery, because a couple of times I'd checked and celery was hollow, and it's like, oh no, I've lost my celery. I might get some. I got a lot. My big new stock pot is chock-a-block full. I filled 2 Costco bags, and that was at. I'm pulling on the celery, and it was like a cartoon. It came up too quick, and I almost went ass over tip, right? So I thought, okay, from now on, cut around with the knife because I can sharpen my knives. Cut around the base of the soil, like go into the soil with the knife, then pull, so there's no sudden release, and put your friggin' knife down when you're pulling. Because of the weather, oh baby. Tomorrow I'll be picking the rest of tomatoes and have fried green tomatoes on Sunday. All my tomatoes are all gone. So, I ended up not realizing that I asked to be part. You know how you guys get when you do 4 jars, when you use my coupon code, you get 10% off, but I get 10% of the sales. And I asked for part of my sales to be in lids. 1, 2. Oh no. I don't want any more wide mouth lids. Oh God. Maybe I'll give them away. Maybe I'll give these away. What's this in the bottom here? Oh. Anybody need largemouth lids? They give you canning instructions. Happy canning. Thank you for supporting 4 jars. I was hoping they'd all be regular mouth, but I do have some largemouth jars. Those will do. So I ended up getting 2 Costco bags out of the celery beds. And then I sat down. Do you do a lot of largemouth canning, Joe? So there's no giveaway, Freaky Geek. That'll be in a couple of weeks. There'll be another 4 jars party. Largemouth bass. Just kidding. I'm really tired, folks. I'm really tired. Aren't the largemouth jars better than the small ones? I love you, Bev. So good to hear you. Yeah, they are, but here they're really expensive. Like the last quart jars I bought were $15 for 12. And that was pushing it. They used to be $9.99, $11.99 for 12. But you go to Canadian Tire, and these are Bernardin jars, but if you go to Canadian Tire and look for Bernardin wide mouth jars for quarts, they're $22 a dozen. It's like, I ain't paying that kind of money. I know, I like largemouth for potatoes, but did 50 jars. Holy crap, just a bread and butter pickles? Yeah, I cracked into my last 3 when I was canning the carrots. I cracked into my last 3 cases of jars. Wow, I love those bread and butter pickles. I saw them today, largemouth, $19 at Walmart, nearly fainted. Is that American or Canadian? Hey, Mary Cook, canning a storm at my house between visits to my husband. He sounded good today. Oh, that's good to hear, darling. Hey, Laura, how are you, darling? So, went out, pulled all my celery. Well, pulled a big Costco bag, wheeled it on down to the porch, lifted it on the porch, went in the house, got the other Costco bag, and did the other bed. And Howie, he sent me 2 more boxes of largemouth. I told him I don't use them. I'm going to give them away for Christmas. For Christmas. Hey, Amy Nitz. Told me today we had frost warning. See? My knees don't lie, man. My knees don't lie, do they, dear? Howie, it's supposed to be beautiful for the next 3 days. Well, my body says it's rain. Wake up next morning to drizzle. How do you do that? I said, well, for starters, I'm not Environment Canada and I don't get my weather predictions from whether the cows are laying down or not in the field, Hey, Sharon, how are you? My mama always said by the time you get to 40, everything starts to hurt. And by the time you get to 50, what don't hurt don't work anymore. Well, life begins at 40. That's when everything starts to fall out, wear out, or spread out. That was on my best friend Geraldine's, her mom's kitchen wall. Yeah, how's everybody doing in Florida? I heard, hey, Lisa from Texas. In Pennsylvania right now, if you was going to buy quart jars, it would be $15 a dozen. Wow. Oh, Joe, don't tell me to wait until I hit 60. I'm 58 now. Hell, I'll be 59 in a couple of months. Hey, Cheryl from Long Island. Hi, Natalie. So I got all the celery harvested today. And I'm going to say about 40% of it was hollow or starting to... Oh, and I saw the teeny tiny little worms. Red wigglers, the worms in the... My celery beds are full of worms. It's wonderful. And when I was chopping the bottoms off the celery, there were some worms so tiny. I didn't even take a picture of the one. They're like, I'm not kidding, worms that big. And I'm like, ooh, and I'm putting them in my compost bucket because, I'm not going to, worms are my friends, right? Started losing muscle at 60. Good now. It will be off my coast tomorrow morning. Oh, good. My family is going good in Jacksonville. Okay, good to hear. Hey, Tigger Bouncing. I didn't even look at your name. I was just looking at the statement. Cooking Mom. Give me a first name. You know the tradition. And if you don't, you should. So I got an entire stock pot, and not a normal stock pot. That great big mother I bought when I was out buying all them carrots and onions and potatoes. And happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear sweet May. Happy birthday to you. Mwah. Happy birthday, darling. My birthday's in January. Yeah, it really sucks. It's like having a birthday between December 1st and February 1st are the worst times to have a birthday because it's way too close to Christmas. I got to kick my ass and start dehydrating onion, etc. But Caden was sick this week and I'm exhausted. Well, you got it. You can only do what you can only do, right? Thank you, Linda. Hey, Amazon, how's it going? I'm new at canning. I'm sorry to ask, what should I do with the apples? Should I cut up or try to make applesauce? Why don't you can them in simple syrup? I'm going to... I just realized, I was just thinking, I've got this light at the end of the tunnel because once I can the celery tomorrow, I have a half a freezer full of vegetable matter for broth. I'm talking plastic shopping bags, probably 5 of them. December 27th. Oh, you can make apple pie filling. I like to just do scrub floors by hand at my cleaning job today, so I'll feel it later. Oh my God, 4-day. Jennifer Jacks, my mom's was 5 days before Christmas. Wow. Well, we all made the live, so we're all winners this evening. That's right, Freaky Geek. Howard, what are you doing in there? Well, shut the door. I can hardly hear myself think now. Have you had your shower yet? I'm in the shower. Oh, you're in the shower. Okay, and you're washing your stuff at the same time? He's got all his drawers and stuff. He's cleaning the fridge from the coach. He's got them all in the shower with him, and he's having a shower and cleaning the fridge drawers at the same time. That's my husband. Making an apple pie with the last of my apples. I haven't even started apples yet. The day I was born is my birthday, and my birthday is the day I was born. It only happened just one time. Hi, Tracy. Well, after 32 years, you know, banter becomes a necessity of communication. Thank you, Elizabeth. Yeah, I know, cut corners, but it doesn't matter. So, suffice it to say that I hit the floor at a shuffle at 10 a.m. this morning, and I didn't sit down until 6:45. Well, I sat down to chop, but I mean, I didn't stop work until 6:45. I sorted all through, like I cut off all the roots of the celery.
This new military flashlight is basically a lightsaber.
Oh, be quiet. Lightsaber. Hey, Tracy, I just rewatched some of your old videos from 2015. I actually have videos older than that, but I had to re-record them with new music. So when I'm in the garden, I'll pull the celery up. I had my walker with the seat and the Costco bag and the handles hooked onto the handles of the walker. And I pull up the celery and I'd cut off the roots and leave them in the bed for next year for, you know, what do you call that? Mulch and stuff. And then I'd put it in the Costco bag. And I got one Costco bag up, and then I got them up to the house, and I brought back another Costco bag, and I did the second bed. And then I got them up to the house and in the house, and then I sorted them. And I was sorting through what was good for broth, cutting off the bottoms. I didn't save any bottoms because I ended up throwing a whole bunch of stuff into the compost because I could only use so much. Hate those random voices popping up. I asked the boss to assign someone younger to that house. Oh my God. That's one of my knees have been bad most of my life. Ever since I can remember. Like ever since I was 11 or 12 years old, my knees started to go. And the first time I had to wrap my knee, I was 15. But so when I sorted all through, I had a full Costco bag and a box of stuff that wasn't fit for canning. Hollow, chewed on, you know what I mean? Woody, all that stuff. I did the best for the canning. And I got a great big stock pot for canning. And then I went through all of that pile, the throw-off pile, again, because I've chopped all the good stuff and it's washed and now in the stock pot. Then I went through the throw-off pile again, and I picked through anything I didn't think, like yellow leaves, or I found a piece of rotten or something. And then all the good stuff, I just coarse chopped an entire Costco bag. Coarse chopped it, and then put it in the Costco bag. And then I got up and I went over to the sink. I did my dishes. And then I started scrubbing my chopped celery leaves and stuff. And I washed them all and scrubbed them and then put them into, I got 2 big Chocobox full shopping bags full of stuff. And that went in the freezer. So tomorrow I'm canning celery. I mean, and in the meantime, like, y'all see me make bread and everything looks pretty good, but I got my friggin' KitchenAid pulled out to the corner of the island away from the celery, and I got bread dough going, and just one of those days. We had peameal bacon and eggs and fried potatoes for supper because it was what I could do while I was washing celery. You know? Lanehart Farms. I pulled all my hot peppers today. I've got still got some green peppers out there, but they didn't do well this year. I was in a head of a car wreck in 6th grade. The dashboard landed on my knees. They haven't worked since. Ooh. You got to go in Thursday for a hip injection. Why don't they just rent you a room, Autumn? It just seems like you've been going for injections and stuff a lot lately, darling. Hey, Cheryl Coombs, how are you? So I have a ton of tomatoes, but I don't think they will ripen up. Yes, they will, Paula. Do things. Okay? If you've got a dark cupboard or something, don't forget them though. And lay down a flat of like a jar, you know, the flat parts of the bottoms of the boxes that you get your jars in. Fill it with green tomatoes, the greenest, and then put on open up a paper bag and then do another layer and just layer them and layer them. And then, but start with the greenest on the bottom and all the way up to pink. And then every other day, you just go and you go through all those tomatoes and you'll have ripe ones. I just said so, Freaky Geek. Well, thank you, Cheryl. I'm glad to hear it. So, I honestly don't think I can shuffle cards tonight, guys. I honestly don't think I can. I will if somebody absolutely needs a reading, but I don't think I can shuffle. What happened to Frugal Fridays? Well, there's only so many ideas you can have for frugal living. Now we're into putting it all into practice, right? Like I'm telling you, my heart cried when I put a half a Costco bag in the compost of celery stuff because I just didn't have room. As it stands, I'm going to have 2 big canners and I'm going to fill them with celery stuff and water and salt, and I'm going to make broth. And then I'm going to pour that into my stock pot, and then I'm going to do 2 canners of onion ends and water and salt. And I'm going to pour that into my big stock pot. And then I'm going to work on the carrot peels because I got 2 or 3 shopping bags of those. Then I could try and divide it up: carrot peels, onion peels, celery ends. But the best way to do it is just to pressure cook each one, pour off the stock, do it all separately, and then combine them and then all the broth will be exactly the same. Hey, Ipschick, how's it going? Thai peppers didn't really do anything, but next year will be different. Plus, I've been watching videos so that I can rearrange my garden next year. That's what happened to Frugal Fridays, Lisa. There's only so many tips that you could have when you just start repeating them, right? If something really new and brilliant comes up, like somebody saying, "Oh, I save all my bread heels and stuff in the freezer." And then someone said, "Bev, cut them up and dehydrate them, and then they're shelf stable." I went, boing! Wow! And that pecan. I'm going to be making more bread puddings because now I've just gone from apples and cinnamon in my mind to Miss Lori showing me, oh, you can make bread pudding out of anything now, right? Chop and drop. What's that? But so is it just me, or is everybody else already planning next year's garden before they've even emptied this one? Because I've ordered seeds. Tracy, I will send you some. I have 4 boxes of tomatoes still in my basement ripening. I clean them up and have done 4 batches of tomato sauce, pasta sauce, and chili sauce base. Good girl. Is it possible to use the ends of squash and zucchini in vegetable broth? I've done it, but I don't know. Traditional broth is the Trinity: onions, carrots, and celery. Like when I worked in the bakery, Tanya was the head cook at the time, or she was actually the kitchen manager at the time. And she would do all these vegetarian lasagnas and vegetarian lentil pies and stuff. And she always did the same thing. She made the stock with onion, carrots, and celery. Boom. And that was her vegetable stock every single time. So, I mean, you're pretty safe bet. I wouldn't do peppers. Peppers, for some reason, make things weird in ammonia. Like, it's kind of weird. My husband ordered 10 yards of dirt and 8 yards of manure coming tomorrow. Ooh, gotta love your hubby. Planting garden and ordering seeds. I've already ordered seeds. That's why I was asking Howie if that's all that came in the mail. I was expecting some seeds today. Well, when you do the bread, Tracy, when you do the bread pudding with dehydrated or dried bread cubes, like some people will season them, right? When we were in the bakery, if bread got past day old, we'd cut it all up and it would go into, it would be dried for like around Thanksgiving, stuffing, bags of cubed bread for stuffing. Or we would cut them all up and then, you know, coat them in oil, a little bit of oil and spices, and we'd toast them for croutons and sell bagged of fresh croutons kind of thing. Yeah, I'm going to grow carrots next year, Lacey Black. I'm going to grow carrots this year. When I bought that 10-pound bag at the grocery store, it was only because I had my reservations about whether there was going to be deer carrots this year or not. Everybody who asked me what deer carrots are, they are like factory seconds. They're not the beautiful slim carrots that will fit into the bags that all the grocery stores want on their shelves. They're the big gnarly ones, crooked ones, you know, broken ones, and they sell them in 50-pound bags for $7 to $8. Now, I got mine for $7, but now locally the deer carrots have come out. I dream gardening and canning. Exactly, food is food, right? But I decided that next year, remember I did 4 beds of celery 2 years in a row, and I was giving it away like by the shopping bag full. So this year I only did 2 beds of celery. Next year I'm only doing 1. Because you know what? That's a lot of friggin' celery when it grows. Hey, how's it going, Paula? So I'm already making changes. Like next year, I'm not going to grow spaghetti squash because I made spaghetti for supper the other night, and it was so watery, even after I drained it, that it was like soup. But I love the zucchini noodles. And once I found my little peeler shredder thing, it's perfect. So I like my zucchini noodles. So next year, I'm putting in 3 or 4 full dedicated beds to the zucchini. I don't shuffle, play 52 pickup. I'm putting together my new garden beds this year. Mine are falling apart. Oh, I don't even want to think about it because mine are going to be falling apart soon. Well, like some people said, oh, my carrots didn't do well at all. I said, you do realize they take longer than celery to germinate. People give up on celery because the seeds are so tiny and they think, oh, they're not working. And then they come up and they're so tiny, right? But the thing is they take 10 to 12 days of being soaked, the soil soaked, for them to actually germinate. Carrots take longer. Yeah, I'm not a fan. I'm not going to grow spaghetti squash anymore. I'm not a fan. I'm really not. I have grown garlic and I've never had any luck with it, but I've only bounced once this week because I've just been in too much pain from canning and stuff. I know. They're workhorses. My canners are workhorses. And, you know, every 3 or 4 days, I'm taking them all apart and cleaning them and making sure, you know, that the spouts, the weights aren't getting stuck and they're, you know, for stuffing. I don't buy stuffing. I make stuffing. Really moist flats. Yeah, they're very, very, very tiny. So next year, I'm cutting out, I've gone from 4 celery beds to 2 celery beds. Next year, I'm only doing 1. Because even if I only get 50% of good celery from the bed, it's still enough. Wait till you see how much celery I have from 2 beds. And so I'm taking those 2 spaghetti squash beds out. Well, I'm not taking them out. I'm not planting 2 beds of spaghetti squash. I'm not planting 2 beds of celery. So those are going to be dedicated to carrot. Those 3 extra beds are going to be dedicated to things like zucchini and carrots. Butter, stir it up. Pepper, butter, roasted spaghetti squash, 45 minutes. I planted them beside the zucchini, and out of 8 so far. I noticed one resembled yours. Salt, pepper, garlic, stir it up. Stir it up. Yeah, I'm definitely growing a lot of zucchini next year because I have not I never realized how much I love it. There's one out there. And I'm going to start Aunt Audrey's recipe box with zucchini bread because that's one of the first recipes she ever gave me. Well, I mean, zucchini, like I use green tomatoes in relish. I use green tomatoes in bread and butter pickles, but I also use zucchini if I got a lot of it, but I just kept eating it. I just kept eating it this year. I haven't changed anything this year, but I've dehydrated a few things and froze more veggies and meat. My hubby hates celery. Briar hates celery too. I don't know why. I think it's a texture thing. But I mean, celery is one of those things that to me, it's just a must-have in almost everything. But I'm not canning any pints this year because a pint of celery is a lot of celery. As you will see in tomorrow's our half-acre homestead pantry pull meal. People have been asking for pantry pull meals. So thing is you're going to see regular meals when I make a roast or roast chicken or something like that. But most of my videos are going to be showing you how I cook with my canned, dehydrated, and frozen stuff that I've put up. Well, honey, in a pickle, do some green tomato chow pickles. Where is Seashell today? Oh, right. I think she's going to Honolulu. I love sauteing zucchini after cutting it in half. Well, what I do is I slice it all up and then I salt it. And then I put it all on a strainer and set it on a bowl and let it drip, and then I rinse it. And that means there's less water in the saute. He hates the crunchy sound. Well, there's no crunchy sound when you can it. Like I looked up canning celery on the internet today, and they said there's no safe way to can celery. It's never been done. And I laugh because then I looked at a video of a young lady canning celery, and it was like I had a moment of absolute joy because she said, and all the instructions that I've ever given for canning celery, because I'm the first person on YouTube to ever can celery. And it was like watching a grandchild or a child or a niece or a nephew, because she did everything exactly the way I and I said, it's like, I don't care that nobody knows I'm the only person who ever can celery, first person who ever can celery on the internet. So many people are doing it. And it's just, it was one of those moments where like, yeah, it sounds stupid, but I made a difference. Going to try green tomato mock apple pie. I'll let you know how it turns out. Went to Amish store yesterday and bought a bushel of apples for $12. Good job. Bev, think I caught someone stealing Wi-Fi and money out of accounts. Gotta go. Have to call bank. Robbery in progress. Okay, Karen, keep us posted. I'm going to be canning the rest of my vegetable stock is all going to be in pints because I'm almost out of quarts. Oh, God, yes. Oh, ketchup's easy. I don't make it like I used to. Like this year, I just took I just washed and cut up tomatoes and onions and peppers, threw some salt on it, and roasted it in the oven. Then I put it in the blender and I poured it through the food mill to get all the seeds and skins out. And then I added brown sugar and vinegar, and away it went back into the oven to slow cook and stirred every 45 minutes. It's the best ketchup I've ever eaten. It's just vinegar, sugar, salt, tomatoes, peppers, and onions, and one little hot pepper. So, well, the thing is with celery is the reason it never was one of those things. Oh, there's no documented, thing on canning celery, because it's a summer vegetable. It's a fresh eaten vegetable. Back in the day, like Ma and Pa, Engels, Celery wasn't common. Celery was like greenhouse British stuff. It was really kind of one of those exotic things. Celery was considered exotic, and it's in season, fresh only. So nobody actually used to grow it, and so nobody canned it. But that doesn't mean it can't be canned. Oh, there's no safe methods, so therefore it's not safe. Sorry, it's celery. Do you know when you get all those natural lunch meats and stuff, and they say, "Oh, cured with celery"? Celery, the celery's there's preservatives in celery, so it's a vegetable. So what's wrong with canning it? It's not like we're pureeing it and it's going to be, pumpkin toxifying people. Hey, Deborah C. How's it going? They say I'm a rebel canner because I do a lot of stuff that's not tested. They should look at the countries like European countries. I know. And there's people who say, oh, I boil bath can everything. My grandmother did that. Well, yeah. But why would you risk it if you can pressure can it? But there are certain things, like I won't can baby food for my grandchild because I did the research. Babies, newborn babies, and babies just eating food do not have the wherewithal in their stomach, in their systems to fight off any kind of botulistic bacteria. What you and I wouldn't even blink at could kill a baby. So you got to be really, really careful. Okay, Tigger, take care, sweetheart. So I mean, I'm pretty sure I was the first person on YouTube to can pumpkin because I didn't can pumpkin puree. There's no safe way to can pumpkin. Bullshit. Cube it, blanch it, and can it in water. That's the safe way to can pumpkin. Hey, Alice. How do I feel about fermenting? Not huge on it, but I do have sauerkraut, homemade sauerkraut in my pantry, so. Hey, Janet. I know. And you know what? Tony G sent me all those little 1/4 pint jars to do baby food in. I'm going to can my celery in those. It's going to be a lot of work. But and if I have any more 1/2 pint jelly jars, I'll do those too. But the truth is a pint of celery is just too much. It's just too much. So, hey, give me a second, folks. I have to go behind the fan because I can't even open it properly because my hands aren't working. I'm really tired. So, this is all my consuming conversation topics. Some enzymes might help. Oh, my hair's it's just drying from having my shower. I love sauerkraut. I have tried 3 times and I can't get it to turn out. Hi, Angie Mac. Well, thank you. I get, it's a dollar store fan. It's a dollar store fan, but well, do your best to support local. Do your best to support local always. It's like when I was doing the shopping for the potatoes and the onions and that 10-pound bag of carrots. If you shop in season more often, like remember when I went to the discount grocery outlet in Peterborough and I brought home peppers and onions and stuff like that? That stuff's from China, man. And although it's great in a pinch and we can't always be choosy when the prices are being what they are. However, shopping in season, I got tons of peppers, onions, potatoes, and could have gotten tons of carrots, all from either my province or the province east and the province west of us. And so as far as I'm concerned, it's all Canadian produce, so I'm happy with that, right? But I shopped in season, right? Squash bug is relentless, really. You should get one of those traps with the hormone stuff. From the time I was 2 months old, I ate mashed potatoes with gravy because I had to have a lot of salt and my mom didn't give me enough. That's why I kept dying. What? Good health starts in the gut. Enzymes might help. Ah. But so my pantry is going to be well stocked because I haven't grown carrots since I was 14. So I'm not sure how I'm going to do at growing carrots. So I can 28 quarts of carrots and I still have 2 or 3 quarts from last year. You got 5 10-pound bags of potatoes for $1.99. Good job. I don't want to do any more potatoes. It's like once they're on the shelf, I don't want to do them again, right? I just signed up for the 4th time for a veggie box delivery from a local farm. Oh, cool. That's a great idea. Amish and Mennonites are awesome. I got all my corn from them and pressure canned 8 dozen a few weeks ago. We didn't get any corn this year. I've got a half-gallon jar of dehydrated corn. I'm not gonna fuss. We're not big corn people, right? You know why we're not big corn people? Why are we not big corn people anymore, dear? I don't think he can hear me. We're going deep, eh? Because Gracie's allergic. Her ear canals will break out in big suppurating sores if she gets corn. But I used to have a lady I used to clean with, Maggie. She did Maggie May's cleaning, and she'd hire me every once in a while to come out if she had extra jobs that she couldn't do all on her own. And that's when I used to wash floors on my hands and knees. But she used to call me her Mennonite friend. Oh, my Mennonite friend, because she come over one day and I was making noodles with my hand crank noodle maker. And she said, what are you doing? I said, making noodles. She said, that's a lot of noodles. I said, well, they keep. She said, how? I said, I dry them. She thought I was just a Mennonite because I made my own noodles, you know? Not really prepping from heaven. Not really. It's been contaminated on the wind, yes, but most sweet corn and popcorn are not GMO. It's the feed corn. It's the corn they put in, the feed corn and the corn they grow for cornmeal and corn syrup and all that. That stuff's all GMO. Hope the fridge door didn't fall on Howie in the shower. No, it wasn't door, drawers. The drawers from the fridge in the coach. He washed them all. At least that's what I heard. Hey, Gypsy Mama. I feel very fortunate we have a lot of local farm store, and I have gotten all my canning produce at those farms. Good. Absolutely wonderful. Like I said, when I went and got those peppers and those potatoes and those onions and those carrots, you saw what $40 ended up looking like in my pantry, right? And in my freezer. I mean, I'm just now, and I did that a couple of weeks ago, and frozen onions and peppers are so convenient. Be careful, because you find out you end up using more than you normally would if you had to slice up an onion. Howie, why don't we eat corn? Because Gracie's allergic. So, oh yeah, there's my shoulder going. You love my new haircut. It's not a haircut, honey. Remember when I shaved? Remember when I cut my braids off? Oh yeah, see, look. I still got these. Remember when I cut them off last August? And then I buzzed myself? And that's when everybody on TikTok started asking me what my pronouns were. It was very disturbing. These are my braids from last August. I haven't done anything but trim this little bit of bangs here. This is just my hair. It's just the way it is. Everyone's like, "Oh, I love your hair. What did you do? I love your skin. What do you use?" Water. As close as my face gets to soap is when shampoo runs over my face when I'm washing my hair. Are you taking off cooking, Mom? All right, take care, cooking, Mom. I got 5 bags of sweet potatoes in the Walmart discount shelf yesterday. Oh, somebody's going to be canning. Do you know I bought sweet potatoes to make baby food back in July? I still got 2 of them sitting on my island. So I'm actually going to cut them up and make a few pint jars. Because we're doing our Thanksgiving. Our Thanksgiving is on the 10th of October this year. It's on the 10th, second Monday in October. And you'll take what, Deborah C? And so I'm going to bake 3 pies. I volunteered to bake 3 pies for the Sunday, for the potluck Thanksgiving turkey dinner. So I'm going to be doing a video on those pies because I'm making a pumpkin, a sweet potato, and a surprise pie. And I am going to make a sheaf of wheat bread for the harvest because I want you guys to see what it is. You know, one of the traditions that never actually got practiced in my house, but should have been, you know, along with the pumpkin pie and the turkey. Hey, glad you're back, Karen. Do you can sweet potatoes the same as regular potatoes? No, they're not. They're actually not a potato, right? They're actually in the morning glory family. They're a totally different. It's like potatoes and tomatoes are closer related. Yeah, potatoes and tomatoes are more closely related than sweet potatoes and potatoes are. But I got 2 big sweet potatoes, so I'm going to be chopping them up soon and canning them so that I can have sweet potato pie. A case of bacon to can. Oh. Yeah, and I'm going to be doing a pantry pull Thanksgiving dinner before Thanksgiving here in Canada, so that you guys can see that you don't need, if there's just 2 of you, and you can even do it bigger if there's more people. But the truth is, for just 2 of us, I got canned turkey. I'm going to show you how I can make a festive Thanksgiving dinner for 2 with very little money and what I pull out of my pantry. They're canned the same as pumpkin, yes. Yeah, you pressure can sweet potatoes. Hubby bought me some sweet potatoes so I can make some sweet potato pie. I thought, why would anyone make this is me, okay? This is the Canadian. Why would you make sweet potato pie? It can't be any different than pumpkin. Oh, yes, it is. It's totally different flavor. And I'm going to tell you, all 3 of my pies are going to all look very similar, but they're all going to be 3 different pies. So baking's coming. Have you checked the price of flour recently? Costco was $13, but Sobeys wanted $21.99. I haven't bought flour since June, July. Cherry pie filling, $7.49 a can. Who buys canned pie filling? Honestly, I mean, I get it. I have a friend, Glenna, back in Peterborough, and she used to shake her head over me. I'd make homemade soup for the kids. I used to babysit, and before I actually babysat for her, she would come over and visit during the day when, you know, let her kids play and stuff. And I would, you know, I'd give the kids soup for lunch, and she'd go, "What kind of soup is that?" And I said, "It's Crockpot soup." You know me, I've been at this I've had a Crockpot in my possession in one way or another from the time I was 21 on. 21. So what am I, 58? 37 years I've been Crockpot cooking. So she'd say, "Oh, you know," and she'd say, "Oh, I was, you know," I'd tell her about meat, you know, "Oh, what are you making for supper?" "I'm making meatloaf." Really? How do you make meatloaf? Right? So she told me one day, she said, I had a date once and I cooked what I thought was a homemade dinner for this guy, and I was so proud of myself. She used canned ham, boxed scallop potatoes, and a can of vegetables, and I think it was a boughton pie. And I said, that's not a home cooked meal, honey. Right? That's not a home cooked meal. Right? I feel guilty that I gave my husband peamel bacon and eggs and fried potatoes for supper. You know? And he was tickled pink and got really excited. Ooh, when the timer went off in the oven, oh, I gotta take the bread out of the what? There's bread? Bread and jam for dessert. He's like a big kid. $11.99 a bag last week at Walmart. I won't shop at Walmart. Oh, get this. Remember when every time I go to a store and there's self-checkouts and I tell the cashiers, that are working by the self-cashiers, they're going to take your job, eh? Oh, no, my boss said that's just because, like, your boss is going to tell you your job's in jeopardy, right? So I was when we were at Costco, the last Costco shopping we did, I had to use the bathroom and the self-checkouts were by the bathroom. And Howie had to keep my cart because I couldn't go past it because there was stuff in my cart. And this lady about my age was running the self-checkouts, and she had said, oh, no, you can't take your cart. And I said, okay. And I said, these things are going to take your job. And she said, I'm aware. And that's the first honest answer. Like, you're not brainwashing us 50-something people. You're not, right? I'm back. I got a sick grandbaby. She's got post-nasal drip that she's choking on and throwing up. Jesus. How old is she? That can't be good. Can she suction out her, like, with the little things? I have 2 crock pots, roaster, and an Instapot. I don't like my Instant. I didn't like, it's not that I didn't appreciate the gift. It was one more thing I just didn't need. My kids keep buying these for me. Last Christmas, my son gave me a case of quart jars and 2 boxes of seals. Well, there's smart shopping for your kids, right? There's smart shopping. That's like, I'm doing, there's 4 jars. We're doing one more party in a couple of weeks. And then there's not going to be another one till near the end of November around American Thanksgiving. And it's going to be one of those big splashy ones, I think. So that, to remind people, anybody in your life a canner, they're going to kiss you silly if you get them these for Christmas. Are all going self-checkouts. I know the Walmarts in Gatineau were self-checkout. I won't shop there anymore on principle. In New Liskeard. Where's New Liskeard? I hope she's better in the morning. Well, Joe, what's going on? Like, how old is she? And if she's choking on it, she needs more liquids. She needs more liquids to break that up. Yes. Order your 4 jars canning lids tonight or tomorrow because October 1st, they're going up in price. Now, mind you, right now it's free shipping over $100 order, but they're going up in price. So the shipping is going to be, after October 1st, is going to be $50, free shipping over $50 in the US. Out of all my YouTube, I watch you're the only one that has 4 jars giveaway. Really? Are you kidding? Anyway, wait a second. Let me give you guys the link. Give me a second here so that Howie, I think there's something in the attic.
Oh, it's quite possible.
Well, I'm hearing footsteps up there. Well, I'm hearing creaking things in my ceiling. Okay, hang on a second. Dashboard. Okay, hang on a second. Here you go, folks. There is the link for the 4 jars, and if you use the coupon code half acre, you will get 10% off. A cat. She's 4 tomorrow, and I told her to have her breathe in some steam. Yes. And lots of clear fluids, because if it's congestion, you would think, oh, I don't need more fluids in me. I'm all stuffed up. No. The water helps break it up. An hour of North Bay, an hour north of North Bay. I used to have friends in Poisson. Bigger than a mountain. Well, it creaked, man. No, probably squirrels, though. Going to order some more tomorrow. Good idea. Hey, LG, how's it going? Mama B's Crochet Kitchen. Ordered my lids last week. Got free shipping on $50 or more. Got them today. They might be off on delivery because of Ian. Oh, bad mess in Florida. Yeah. At a farm market in our town, my husband found 32-ounce mason jars and 64-ounce mason jars that are made of dark brown glass. Oh, anything. Store anything in dark brown glass. The less light, the longer it retains its nutrition. Absolutely. Bev is the only Canadian YouTuber that does 4 jars. The rest are American. Well, 75% of my YouTube family is American. But we got people in Hong Kong and people in like in Japan and Hawaii and the Netherlands and Belgium and Scotland and Ireland and England and Wales and Australia, New Zealand, all over the world. Right? Have a migraine. Oh, honey, drink lots of water. Room temperature water. Because the first headaches, the first symptom of a headache is usually dehydration. The first symptom of dehydration is a headache. Got a new furnace and AC last week. Woot, living high. I got a $100 door today. And because both my doors are busted. So Howie's going to the races this weekend. And we're going to the races next weekend for Thanksgiving. Oh, I've got to get my fabric together to make my gypsy tent. And in between, he's going to be like my front door that had the glass broken for 2 years because I locked my keys in the porch and then I had to break the window to open the door. And then my kitchen door got slammed one too many times because there's like an airlock in the porch. When you close that door, there's kind of like, it makes it kind of like an airlock. So you have to kind of really whack the door, right? Like, and it's, the tongue and the thing and the door is a wooden frame with metal cladding and like stuff in it, right? Well, the wood frame, the cladding came away from the wood frame. So Howie's going to remove the window from the broken kitchen door and put in and replace the broken window in the front door. And then he's bought me a secondhand door for $100. That's going to go in the kitchen door. If that makes any fucking sense. Sorry. I won't even turn my furnace on yet, even though it's been in the... well, we've had the baseboard heaters on, but it's not bad. Howie's going to be soon cleaning the chimney and doing all the honey-do list. And I'm making it. Because there's stuff that just has to be done before winter. Firewood's got to come up on the veranda. The doors have to be fixed. The doors have to be done. The window in the bathroom has to be framed in inside and out. The soffit at the back has to be fixed. The gutters are going to have to be cleaned after the leaves fall. And then he can just be fine for this. He's got to fix the floor in the basement. You don't want to see frost in the house, Lacey Black. You see frost in the house, and you're going to get mold issues. Hey, Jennifer Jacks. When my kids were babies and sick, my mom would make up Jell-O, but not add the cold water and put in their bottle while still warm. I won't turn on the heat till I absolutely have to. Natural gas has tripled. Oh, yeah. Don't even get me started. Hey, Missouri Belle and Susan Price. Susie Q, I had my husband bring space heater into the living room today, and it really did take the edge off the cold. We've gotten as low as 39 Fahrenheit here in Michigan, USA. Hey, Mindy. Oh, you still have the air on in Texas. I remember when we went to one of our Las Vegas poker meetup things. We've been to a couple of those. And our friend Wade, my captain of the Hold'em Radio Pirates, Wade said, 40 below. How the hell do you guys keep warm? I went, 116. How the hell do you guys keep cool? It's called solid foundation, insulation, and good heating. I mean, you build... Like, when there was a storm the first time we were in Las Vegas, and everybody was like, wow, and standing at the hotel windows and watching the lightning and the rain, and we're like, it's a storm. But, at that time, their drains were only like this because they didn't get a lot of rain. And the streets were flooding. It was nuts. But the truth is, when we had a mobile home in Arizona later on, and... the pipes, the hose froze one night and burst, and because they're not necessarily built for sub-zero weather, right? I've still got my original furnace from 1951. It's gravity heat, and I love it. I still got my original water heater. I've got a brand new one in the box, but it how he does is, hey, honey, how? You got to clean out the bottom of the hot water heater, too. Shall I put that on the list? Why would we replace it if it's working perfectly fine? Just clean out the bottom. Keep that other hot water heater till we really need it. Waste not, want not. This is why we have so many problems after the Texas freeze in 2021. Yeah. In a pickle, I'll be doing that once it's colder. Hi you're in Belize. Oh, wonderful, Corey. You made it. So you were only put off for a little while from the hurricane, eh? You get same here, Jennifer Jacks. I live in Western Quebec, which is just outside of Ottawa, Ontario. As a matter of fact, Howie works in Ottawa. And, if you don't like the weather, well, I can't say wait 5 minutes because some days it'll rain for days. We rent our hot water heater now. I don't rent nothing if I can own it. Right? Oh, I'm getting high-speed internet. I went back to Bell. And they've made me an offer I couldn't refuse. I'm getting fiber optic internet and TV. Now, I'm not getting the uber fast package. But guess what? What I get right now, I'm streaming with data. So don't judge by this. But poor Howie, he's like, I'll just replace the hot water heater. Why would you replace the hot water heater? Just clean out all the silt and calcium out of the bottom. It'll be good for another year, at least. Well, you could. Can't believe you remember that. But hey, I make meatloaf now. Meatloaf the man or meatloaf the meal? Can't remember what. Heat is going on in a few days. You can use an old hot water heater as a tank to store backup water. Oh, I never thought of that. Oh no. See, that's my girl Raph came and I said, I'm getting Bell 5, and she went, and I said, you know what? The truth is, I have 3 YouTube channels. I have a Rumble channel, and live streaming is costing me a lot of money in data. I hope everyone is prepared. Bev, did you finish your carrots? Oh, yes, ma'am. Took the last of them off the dehydrator this morning and started into the celery. Right into the celery. You'll be getting the video probably on Monday for the carrots. I'm still on dial-up internet. Wow. Well, we were remote enough that we had to be on dial-up when we first got here, and then we upgraded to a Wi-Fi that was crappy, and then we upgraded to ExploreNet, and then we upgraded to Bell Wi-Fi, and now we're getting Bell 5. And it's like, you know what? We're changing everything over. We're changing our cell phones over. We're changing over our TV. I'm getting a landline put in again, and internet. So internet, phone, mobile, and TV. Because you can't tell me they're not listening to everything we say anyway. Right? Every flat screen device in your house is capable of recording you or capable of listening to you. They don't tell you that. And you don't have to have a webcam for that to happen. We have Verizon Fiber. It's the best thing since sliced bread. Well, to put it in perspective, the internet I have right now, my Wi-Fi, which is pretty good, my Bell Wi-Fi is pretty good, is 25 megabytes per second is the speed. And I can live stream on that, but it's spotty sometimes, so I don't. The package I just bought, oh, and by the way, the 25 megabytes per second is my speed, and I'm only allowed to use 350 gigabytes a month. I've never used them all. I've come close, but I've never used them all. My new basic package for fiber optics internet is 500 megabytes per second, not 25, 500. So I'm figuring I don't need anything other than that. And I remember you having a talk with the teacher about cookies you made Arthur, and she wanted you to give him granola bars. You told her to check the box of ingredients. Oh my God, rhubarb pie. Oh, right. That was the kindergarten teacher. She ended up quitting. I knew she wasn't emotionally stable, right? She wouldn't let the kids bring anything and package it. Like he had to bring fruit or a granola bar. They couldn't bring drinks. They could only drink at the fountain, right? And I said to her, and she said, don't be sending Arthur cookies to school. I said, do you know what's in my cookies? That's oatmeal and sunflower seeds and raisins and brown sugar and eggs. Do you know what's in a granola bar? Read the label, right? She drove me nuts. And then I found out she ended up having a nervous breakdown. And we left. We moved in February. So Arthur, that was junior kindergarten. Arthur, I was like, great, because he was picked on by this teacher. And Arthur's a really smart and a very respectful boy. He was. I mean, you could take him to a restaurant. As a matter of fact, my brother Billy came and took us to the old spaghetti factory once. And Arthur was like, I don't know, a year and a half old. And put him in the high chair. And I ordered him some spaghetti. Like I just said, I'll take spaghetti. Can you give me a bowl for my son? That kid knew how to use his manners. 18 months old. You don't tell me that my kid's a problem in school? Hell no. Right? So she ended up having a nervous breakdown. But when we moved, I was 8 months, almost 9 months pregnant with Briar when we moved to Colburn. And in the spring, after Briar was born, um, I phoned the school and I was going to register Arthur for um, senior kindergarten the following year. And they said, why don't you bring him in? Or why don't you ask him? See how he feels. Because I told him, I said his first experience with school was not great, right? Was not great. And so I got off the phone and I said, Arthur, do you want to go to school? And he goes, yeah. So the next day I bundled Briar up and I took him into the school and I read, and this was like March. Took him into the school and I'll never forget it. It's when my faith was restored in the public school system. I had Briar in my arms and the principal came and he introduced himself to me and he introduced himself to Arthur. And, he said, pleased to meet you, Arthur. And he stuck out his hand. Arthur shook his hand. He was 5 years old, right? And he said, would you like to take a tour of the school? And Arthur said, yes, please. And so off the principal went, showing Arthur around the school. And here I am doing all the paperwork. And Arthur was just like, and my biggest crime was that I moved us away before he could graduate from that school with his friends. I always will feel bad about that. But Arthur's always been a really good student. I don't know where this came from. My sister has the same issue with her daughter's teachers. They even have to put their lunches in beeswax wraps now. Jesus. This has got to stop. Yes. And this has got to stop. Yes, I agree. This is packing material, right? But come on, right? Trudeau outlawing single-use straws and plastic cutlery. It's like, oh, the turtles get them in their nose. Well, wait a second. Back up the truck. You're going to tell me you've outlawed plastic straws and you get an ice cap with a plastic cup and a plastic lid and they give you a paper friggin' straw? Where is the sense in that? Now, I am all for cleaning up the environment, but not the way the governments are trying to legislate it. They're making it like, we've got to be this by 2030 or we're all going to die. No. We're constantly finding new ways of doing things. The old are now, like me, are now teaching people how to reduce, reuse, and recycle. But the biggest one of these is reduce. And look at your packaging differently. All of these things. But trying to tell everybody that they have to have an electric car by such and such a date. You know how much those things cost? They're worth more than my house. Legislating common sense is not the way to go. We have given way too much power to the political bodies and healthcare industries and media and all these things. We give them way too much of our power away. Paper tags on plastic bags. Exactly, Tina. Like, give me a break. And you know what? They take away twist ties from the garbage bags, but the garbage bags are plastic, right? Twist ties are reusable. Bread tags on the bread bags, they're reusable. I don't mind living without, straws. I keep straws. I keep straws and I wash them and I reuse them. Of course they do, Freedom Sassy. It would help the environment more to go back to glass than all this plastic we have now. Well, here's the interesting thing. They stopped doing glass and went to plastic because all the delivery men were going into workman's comp claims for back issues and shoulder issues and leg issues from lifting those heavy cases of glass bottles all the time. Well, when was the last time you saw a beer truck that didn't have a built-in forklift? So there's no need for plastic bottles anymore. We can go back to glass. It's recyclable, not in the way they say plastic is, okay? From the electric cars are more batteries from the electric cars are more dangerous than our plastic straws. Absolutely. And you know where those batteries are made? In coal-fired plants overseas. So let's just, the climate crisis. There is no climate crisis that the government hasn't created. We have been funneled into a way of thinking. We were given recycling so that we could remove the guilt of using plastic products to the point where it has escalated. It's like, the guy at the checkout counter that says that's watching the little old lady who's using a plastic shopping bag or asks for a plastic shopping bag. And he gives her a lecture on, it's our burden, your generation messed up and it's our burden to deal with it. And she said, you're right. We didn't have recycling when I was young because we used paper grocery bags. We didn't have plastic bags. We didn't have plastic bottles. Bottles got taken back to the store because there was a deposit on them. And she went on. We didn't have garbage bags. We used the paper bags our groceries came in. Right? All of these things, right? Hey, chaos! I know. They're trying to... Listen, guys. Be responsible for your trash. Be responsible for the things you buy and the packaging that it comes in. Be responsible. But don't let the government tell you how you need to be responsible because they're supposed to be working for us instead of herding us like sheep to their own agendas, into behavior patterns. It's been going on way too long, way too long. It is time for us to say, no, you don't get to put a meter in my well. No, you're not putting a smart meter on my house. No, you're not, you're not gonna, I'm not registering my garden. You don't get to tell me what I can and cannot grow on my own land. No. We've gotten way too complacent with allowing other people to make our decisions for us. Like somebody said to me, we got to stop voting. I said, that won't work. But if everybody stops voting, they'll see, I said, not everybody's going to stop voting. Yes, they'll see, like if all the responsible people stop voting, then who's putting people in power? The idiots. I think we touched a nerve, and I love when you get upset about political interference here in Canada. It's just, Trudeau's a moron. I'm sorry. Everyone goes, oh, no, that wasn't him singing that was the Queen's Jubilee. No, that was 2 days before the Queen's funeral. And you know why he brought his pianist? And you know why he was singing in the lobby of his hotel? Because nobody else, all the other visiting dignitaries who were there to pay the respects to the Queen, didn't want anything to do with him. No, that's why he was standing, singing in his hotel lobby. He probably had the misguided assumption that it would make him look relatable. Seriously, dude, could you be any more embarrassing? I need to bake something pumpkin. Me too, EJ. I'm almost there. Hey, all things acres. How's it going? Well, the thing is that's why I worked so hard on that one video, showing you guys everything I got and then spending 4 days processing it all and showing you the difference between a home processed 4.5 pound bag of $1.99 onions to a half pound bag of $1.99 onions from China that you'd get from Walmart. Biden was probably the only one listening to him. Yeah, well, you know what? Like, what I love is that they're pulling back all the mandates, the arrive can and the traveling mandates and the vaccine mandates and all this shit. Now they're still putting it out. Oh, get your booster. Everybody get your booster, because you have to understand that there is a certain percentage of the population that are though volunteers, those kind of people who expect to be told what to do in a crisis, be told what to do, be told how to behave, be told. And they're so used to it, they wouldn't know any other way to live. If the government suddenly disappeared and they were on an island, they would want to be the first person voted off, because they'd have one thumb in their mouth and the other one up their butt. They wouldn't know what to do with themselves. Oh, well, thank you. So the truth is, this is what you want to know what happened, why they're lifting all the mandates. The federal government is backpedaling on, let me remind, if I don't talk about it, remind me of double dipping. Remind me about double dipping. What happened is, why they're lifting all the mandates is Trudeau went to London. And I'll lay money, good, hard money. Hell, I'll lay half my pantry on the odds that while he was in London and it got leaked that he was singing Bohemian Rhapsody in his hotel, embarrassing our country once again, I bet you his cabinet ministers all got together and said, okay, we're going to leak that we're getting rid of all the mandates. And so they did. Oh, we're getting rid of all the mandates. Pending Trudeau's approval when he gets back. And when he got back, they said, you sign this or it's non-confidence and we're out of here. How much do you want to make a bet that they just took the lead while he was gone and said, buddy, this is your only chance. Give the people what they want. So they're still going, oh, get your boosters, get this and get that. Right? There are those people, right? However, it's too little too late. Sure, they can do it. And I still want him up on charges, on charges for fraudulent making decisions. He told the world that he was advised by police authorities to invoke the Emergencies Act. That was an absolute out and out lie. Absolute lie. Oh, double dipping. Right, double dipping. Okay, let's talk. Okay, now listen. I have to make a disclaimer here. Okay? I have no idea what's happening in Russia and the Ukraine, South Korea, North Korea, China, Pakistan, anywhere. Saudi Arabia. I have no idea what's going on in those parts of the world. Do you know why? Because the only news I get is from mainstream media, and mainstream media is government owned, operated, and it's their own propaganda machine. Okay? So I don't trust anything that I'm being told. If Trudeau's telling me I got to send money to the Ukraine, I'm going to ask myself, where is that money really going? Okay? The only reason for anybody to get involved in the Ukraine and Russian conflict is we've got some interests over there in the Ukraine that need protecting. Otherwise, we'd be standing back and going, hey, not my fight, man. Not my fight. Right? Why are we getting involved in something so far away? Right? So he's been printing money. Right? Printing money doesn't make things cheaper. It makes things more expensive, because the dozen eggs that cost $5 today, when you print more money, is $8 tomorrow. It doesn't make more. You can't eat money. Right? I don't care at this point, Joe. I'm okay right now. This is all public knowledge. All right? So I'm not angry. I'm not saying I don't support, Pakistan and the flooding in Pakistan and the hurricanes off of Florida and our own hurricane and all this stuff. But when Trudeau gives millions, you know, 250, $300 million to the Ukraine and gives them weapons and all this stuff. And then like 3 weeks later, there's flooding in Pakistan and they're going to provide aid. And you know how they're going to provide aid? For every dollar that Canadians are, now listen carefully, for every dollar that the Canadians donate towards the flooding relief in Pakistan or wherever it is, the federal government will match it. What's wrong with that picture? I'll give you a minute to think about that. The federal government pledges to match all donations made by Canadians. Think carefully, please. I gave you a hint when I said remind me to talk about this. I'll save it. I'll be doing it. Exactly, Paula. Because the federal government, the money in the federal government comes from us. It comes from us. Don't think I don't pay taxes. Canada's one of the worst tax countries in the world. And he's adding more and more and more. And he's like, oh, all the Nova Scotia, now we got, PEI without power, Nova Scotia without power, or New Brunswick just got their power back from Hurricane Fiona. And he's like, oh, and all the aid that everybody raises for the Atlantic coast or the maritime provinces, and after the wake of Hurricane Fiona, the federal government will match it. Oh, so if I give $1,000, you're going to give $1,000 and then tax me more to pay for it. Not that I'm for not helping my fellow man. I'm all for helping people in need. Absolutely. But Trudeau, you got to stop giving away money that isn't yours. That's what insurance companies are for. That's what the Red Cross is for. Salvation Army, St. Vincent de Paul. Hell, thanks to the ArriveCan app, which is still kind of in play, a whole bunch of relief rescue workers, electrical workers from Vermont couldn't get in to help set things to right because trees are down on power lines and everybody, whole provinces are without power. And folks from the United States are saying, okay, boys, let's get in our hydro trucks. Let's get over there and help. And then they got bogged down at the border because of the ArriveCan app and mandates. Isn't this all just trifling, confusing, folks? God help us. Stop relying on somebody else to make your decisions for you. It's time, folks. It's time to get up to the counter at the checkout. Oh, that's right. There won't be it. Get to the cashier. What? $8 for a 10-pound bag of potatoes? No, you take that back. I'm not paying for that. And I'm not angry at you, darling. I'm not angry at the cashier. I need you to tell your boss. More and more people need to say, no, enough's enough. Because it trickles up. But they're removing all the cashiers, aren't they? So there's nobody to bitch to. Hey, GF Piper, how's it going? I have 4 Crockpot, 3 for soaping, and 1 for cooking. Why wouldn't you use your soap ones? I make soap in my Crockpots. People go, oh, don't use the same thing. Why? It's called washing. It's like, oh, I'm never going to watch your stuff again. Let the dog lick the pot, or you let the dog lick your plate. Your point? Don't you wash your dishes properly? Extra chocolate on my chocolate bars. Yeah, I'm serious. But I mean, how I think it should be a rule in government anywhere. Like, seriously, these people are in power because they're supposed to be working for us. We're supposed to have put them there. And it's all crumbling because half the people in governments aren't there because we put them there. They're there because they were supposed to be put there. If everybody stopped voting, even the brainwashed, if nobody showed up at the polls, the government would still find a way of manipulating the numbers so that they could put into place whoever they want. That's why I'm not stopping voting. Right? My vote may not count, but I can't take the chance that it doesn't. Right? My dogs eat off my silverware as I eat. Well, you see how he feeds. A little bit for Gracie. You kidding? She's our baby. Okay, Joe. My second oldest sister makes soap. I don't see anything wrong with giving a dog food in a dish and washing it for me to use. Exactly. What are you going to do? If you tell the truth more often, one batch of lies should be okay. You have me laughing tonight. It's all ludicrous. Exactly, Tina. It's ludicrous. All of these people, all of the Klaus Schwabs and the World Economic Forum and the World Health Organization and the UN and the CIA and the FBI and the federal government. Okay? There are too many levels. There are too many levels of government and of any kind of organized structure like the World Health Organization, like the UN, like all of this stuff. All of this stuff, the more layers you have, the more corrupted you have to be to get to the top. What does that tell you? Every time my husband makes us a smoothies, our dogs get to lick the right out of the glass. That's why we don't eat a lot of corn, because Gracie eats everything off of our, that we eat. Well, she doesn't eat everything that we eat, but she always gets to lick the plate. She always gets a little bit of this, a little bit of that. I mean, her kibble is her standby, right? And we buy good kibble for her. Exactly. Linda, look for my dog and season for us, and she has her own part of the dish collection, but it helps to do the dishes. Did you hear about China having their own PD in almost every country in the world? What's a PD? Okay, Alice. Bye, lovey. I can listen to you all day like it when you get on a roll and just talk. Well, I wish I could live on Rumble, but I haven't figured out how to do that yet. So, oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, absolutely. Are you kidding? Klaus Schwab, everybody thinks it's a conspiracy theory. Read the man's books. He's got it all planned out. Oh, and we've infiltrated the governments with young and upcoming people like young Mr. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. Oh, really, Klaus? And do you know who was sitting in the front seat of that talk? Joe Biden. I mean, not, and it gets a whole lot worse. Anything that you can think of that is any brand of corruption you can think of. If you can think about it, it exists. That we could give an ear of corn to, and she would clean that every single kernel. I know. Peppy, not Peppy. All my dogs loved corn on the cob, but Penny especially. Penny and Pixie are Bostons. They love chewing on a cob of corn. But Gracie found out real early that she was getting big, like blistering herpes in her ears and stuff, and her skin would break out and her mouth would break out, and she can't have corn. It's not grain, it's corn specifically. You look like my cousin. You remind me of my cousin. They're in Illinois. I watch your videos and see her and Howie, Grace blessed. Well, you know what, Sandra? How do you pronounce that? Hudchek? Hudchek? Hudziek? Hudziek. I get that a lot. I get that a lot. I've got one of those basic faces that has a little bit of everything in it. And oh, you're like my aunt, or you're like my big sister, or you're like my grandma, or you're like my mom, or, you could be, I want to call you mom and I'm only 3 years younger than you. It doesn't matter. What you're feeling is an, what you're recognizing is yourself, because we're all just one big family. We've just gotten really scattered across the world, right? There's only one race, the human race. These race wars are ridiculous. They're stupid. I mean, I don't understand, right? But I'll tell you what, we're having our provincial election, and there is like 5, 6 choices. And 3 of them, half of them are French language, separatist kind of stuff. And the other 3 are the Liberals, the NDP, and the Conservatives. So tell me, where things are going. Anybody votes for the Liberals or the NDP's got to be whacked. Okay, I'm not going to talk about that's not my right to say that. Everybody has their own belief. But yes, we are all connected. And what you're seeing or what you're connecting to is my relatability, because we are family. Just kidding. Oh, sure. It's like the indigenous reserves, the First Nations, the nation's reserves, the Indian reserves all over the country. Okay. The government gives them money, but it's not giving them money. It's like guilt money and rent for all the land that's been stolen from them. Right? Now, don't think that a lot of those band offices and chiefs aren't corrupt. I'm not saying all the chiefs or anything, but I'm saying, you just give it to the band office, the chief, and he decides who gets it. Why is everybody so poor? Why don't you have a running water? But, chiefs are driving around having big houses and cars and shit. It's like, no. You don't get to let one person decide what's good for all. That's when things go wrong. Always have, always will. Anyway, folks, everyone wants their voice out there. It's getting crazy. It's what's in it for me club. It's not just that. It's kind of like the Tower of Babel. Okay. You know how the Tower of Babel, there were so many languages that there was all one language that everybody fought to be heard. And that's when they broke them all up into different languages and stuff, whatever that is. Look at it this way. If you have 1,000 people and every one of those people wants to be identified as something different from each other, where's your commonality? If everybody's, I'm a 58-year-old married Canadian who believes in freedom of speech, freedom to peaceful protest, and freedom to medical autonomy with my body. But Trudeau, I'm an extremist. What's wrong with that picture? So my point is, if everybody is unique, but you can't have uniqueness at the price of separating yourself from everybody else. Right? Because then all you have is 1,000 people jumping up and down saying, I'm this, I'm this, I'm this. And everybody has to be something different from everybody else. And it's chaos. We're human beings. And you can identify as anything you want. I identify as an alien. I mean, not an alien immigrant. I mean, an alien out in the woohoo Star Nebula shit. I identify as an alien. But at the end of the day, if my bones are dug up 1,000 years from now by an archaeologist, the archaeologist is going to look at my bones and say, that is a such and such age female, Caucasian female, because your bones don't lie. And I'm pretty sure the archaeologist isn't going to ask the bones what they identify as. You can identify as something all you want, but don't do it at the exclusion of everybody else in society, because you're only going to be, you're going to be the preacher with a congregation of one. So I'm not saying don't identify. I'm just saying you are what you are. If you were born into the wrong body and you want to fix it to be what you want it to be, well, then that's fine, isn't it? But at the end of the day, I watched, I think it was Chicago Hope or Grey's Anatomy or something. It was years ago. It was before all this stuff started. And correct me if anybody else has seen this. A kid was hit by a car, like this 14-year-old boy was like hit by a car, or he had run away or something, and he ended up in the hospital. And when you put them in a room, the Chinese would congregate together, the Brazilians would congregate. Well, I mean, that's just because there's comfort in numbers, right? There's comfort in numbers. I get that, Susie Q, right? People feel comfortable because they've been labeled. You just said the Brazilians and the Chinese and that. We got to drop labels, man. But anyway, this kid was brought into the emergency room and they did x-rays. This boy, right? Or this girl, she was a girl, by the way, sorry. And when they did the x-rays, the doctor called somebody else in and said, what do you see there? They said, 13, 14-year-old, girl of such and such height and blah, blah. And he goes, no, that's a boy. And they went, no, the skeleton it's a girl, right? So the whole episode was about this boy ran away because his parents wanted him to be a girl, because he was physically a girl. But the truth was that somebody made a mistake in the circumcision department and accidentally cut the kid's willy off. So they decided, with the parents' permission, to completely remove the male genitalia and rebuild it into female genitalia and put the kid on hormones. And the kid intrinsically knew, I am not your girl. And then they found out, the parents finally broke down, and after all this came to light because of the x-ray of the skeleton, that, the child had been born a boy, Not a racist attitude towards other, right, okay, sorry. There are red heifers yearly. This isn't new. What are we talking about? Hey, Joan Bogart, birds of a feather. We are all scattered across the globe, and here I be, just scatterbrained. My dad used to call me a scatterbrain. So anyway, that's kind of, I'm not saying you can't be whatever you want. I'm just saying, in the end, your skeleton tells the tale of who you are or were, right? So anyway, it's been 2 hours almost, and I need to go to bed because I got to can celery tomorrow. So there is 126 people here, and we're going to close with a prayer. Now, not if you want to leave, that's fine. If it's not, there's no judgment. But this is a time when we drop all the walls that organized religion has slammed between our beliefs. We don't have beliefs, we have faith. This is where we leave at the door what's different about our feelings and come together with hearts and hands entwined. And you link to your faith, I'll link to mine. And we'll just have some spiritual nourishment. How about that? All right. Take care, Preppin. Love you. Mwah. Good night. God bless. So anybody who's leaving, take care. I love you. And me too, Linda. Me too. All right. Yes. Let's pay the bills. Tomorrow is Friday, and for patrons, that means Freaky Friday at 8 p.m. tomorrow night. Patrons only, unlisted, where we get together for about an hour and a half, and we get on the disco lights and we play music, and I can drop the fan, and we just rejoice in being alive another day. All right, but that's for patrons only. So if you want to join, and on Mondays and Wednesdays, we get together like this. Only we talk a little more. Well, I guess we were pretty frank tonight, weren't we? I know. It goes real quick, eh? All right. For all those who care to, please help me close with a bit of spiritual nourishment. You connect to your faith or your light or your guiding light, and I will connect to mine. And anything I say, if it doesn't resonate with you, then you leave that part out. Okay, this is about spreading light and love and sharing in God's love, source's love, the creator's love, because we want to light our own paths. We want God to light our paths, right? And darkness cannot fall where light is present, right? All right. What the world needs now is love, sweet love. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Burt Bacharach. What's the movie? All right. Thank you, Carolyn. All right. Let's do some deep breathing. Inhale positivity, exhale negativity. Inhale love, exhale fear. Okay? Inhale light, exhale darkness. That's that simple. And remind me another time to talk about, never mind. I'll save it for Rumble. All right. Hey, God, creator, one source, creator of all. How's it going? Once again, God, thank you for reminding me that I have a voice, and and it's okay to speak my feelings. Thank you for getting me through carrots. And I appreciate you getting me through celery today, although we still have work to do. But thank you, God, for the sunshine today and the bounty of my garden and the bountiful blessings of the friends that always seem to join us here and share in the light and the love. There's a lot of people, God, that are having hard times. There's babies that are sick. There's people that are in the hospital. There's folks that are battling, crippling and killer diseases. And there's people living in fear and confusion in these tumultuous times. God, we lift those people up to you so that the light of your love may pour down on them. We lift them up to you because we know you are there. We know. So they should come before us in a way because we already have you. But we lift them up to the sunshine of your love. Please take them, care for them, and, bless them. And bless all my friends and YouTube family here tonight and abroad and away and about. Because you know what, God, it's been 13 years and I have a family here on YouTube. And it gets bigger every day. And I'm truly blessed for that. Thank you, God. Look after us all as we go forward. Fill us with the light of your love so that as we go forward, hand in hand, heart in heart, we part the darkness like a knife. Because then we know God's light is the one thing the darkness cannot handle. Thank you, God. Thank you. Amen. Shalom. Namaste. Peace be with you. Merry meet, merry part. Blessed be. Walk in the shining light of God. Miigwech. Whatever the language is that you use to speak to the guiding light of your faith, love's always the best way. Always. God is all good all the time. God is love. Everything else is just twisted manipulations. Take care. God bless. I love you guys. Don't ever forget that.